We all know the famous games. Science versus von Bartleben, the Paul Morphy Opera game, and Bobby Fischer versus Spassky Game 6. But today, we have another entry for the history books. This was an 80-move thriller on chess.com, a 10-minute rapid game that my friend played, and he gave me permission to analyze it in this video. So let's just get right to it. We have a Scandinavian defense. And then we have this d3 variation, and then boom, f5. They're already just creating new opening theory as we speak. Pawn takes, and then b6, like a gambit style, clearly to attack the pawn and fianchetto the bishop. And then white plays queen f3, defending the pawn. So when black takes, white can take back with the queen, getting back their material. But this hangs the queen in one move. However, this was actually a genius move by white, because white saw that black didn't see that the bishop could take the pawn, or they would have just done it right away. So white's like, oh, I could just take this pawn and everything's good. They're not going to see that the bishop can take the queen again. And black doesn't. Black plays pawn to e6, attacking the queen and blocking his own bishop, which could have attacked the queen, or could have taken the queen. And then white moves to queen e5, attacking the rook, and then black attacks the queen, but this time the bishop's not defended, and that's just a free bishop. And now black finds the only move to protect the rook, queen f6, but white can just trade queens here. Now white is up a pawn and a bishop, so white's just going to develop. Okay, black just hangs a pawn right there, but white doesn't even care. We're just going to keep developing a piece. Let's attack this knight. The knight's undefended. And the rook attacks the bishop, but the knight's undefended. That's just a free knight. But white doesn't take it. White takes the free pawn. You saw, okay, so you played bishop g5 to attack the knight, which is undefended. And then black didn't defend the knight, so that's still a free knight you can take. And in addition, black played rook to g8, attacking the bishop that you just moved to attack the knight. And instead of taking the knight, you take the pawn, which is worth less than the knight. And to top it all off, this knight was defending the bishop. And this right here is why I have a drinking problem, okay? Ugh. But anyway, okay, rook takes, and now knight takes pawn, and it's just, okay, maybe black won't see that the bishop can take, but black does. So black can see that the bishop can go here, but not here, okay? But, okay, so now we have an even game of material. The eval bar says it's negative 0.5. And then white pushes the bishop out, blundering this pawn. But it's not the worst thing, because you get some development, and that pawn, like, these two pawns are defended, it's fine. So, and bishop, and this is good development. Bishop attacks the rook. It also attacks this pawn right here. And the rook moves out of the way, where it cannot be captured by the bishop, but can be captured by the pawns. Now, black offers a trade of bishops, takes, but black doesn't see that the knight could just take back the bishop and pushes this pawn. Oh no, I thought black would play this move because the knight defends. He was like, okay, trade bishops, even though you probably shouldn't be trading, but it's fine. But now white is up +7. And okay, this is a good move by white in my opinion. Even though this is essentially a trade, because after the pawn takes, you take this and you get your rook into the game. Like, this is a fine move. Okay, this is a good trade. Now white is +7 still, clearly ahead. Black attacks the rook with the knight. Rook moves, attacking the knight. King attacks the rook. And that is not a good move, because the rook is just hanging. In fact, you could just take this free pawn right here, and you are a big chillin'. And king takes the rook. Now, white is up 2 pawns. So this is still very winning for white. You just got to be careful. King moves out of the way, and that's a pawn blunder with check. Good find by white there. King moves out of the way again. And now white's just going to push the pawns. Hey, you got to get queen somehow. And then white blunders the knight, just hanging it over here. Also the pawn. But black misses it and takes the pawn instead. So both times players passed up taking knights. And they took pawns instead. And white defends the knight. This is an inaccuracy because of this check, but I mean, it's fine. This is fine. Black takes another pawn, and now we have a trade. Okay, so now this is a pretty drawn endgame. White is at +1, but this pawn is about to fall unless you play rook here, which is just a really bad move and too passive. But white has the pass pawn. So black's about to get these two connected pass pawns. White has this pass pawn, and then white has this majority here on the king side. White pushes the pawn. Solid move there. Black takes the pawn, and now white pushes the pawn, and this is a mistake because rook a5, and you're just not defending this pawn. If you push, then we can have like some trades there, which always benefits black in this situation. But black pushes the pawn to b5, trying to get their own queen. And not only is this not going up where you can take the pawn, it blocks off the rook from being able to take this pawn. Now, this is a lower elo game. Like, honestly, this isn't too bad. Like, black has the rook on a good position to block out the king. They're just going to push the pawn, okay? But it's fine, okay? Now white finds the only move that works. Pawn up. And black doesn't take the pawn. You had to take it. It goes from +1 to mate in 15. White pushes the pawn. You cannot stop it. Black pushes their own pawn. It's mate 9, and white gets a queen. And black pushes their pawn. One more step to promotion. But now white can attack. That's a check. Boom. It's mate in 4. Okay, now it's mate in 6, but it's fine. King moves out of the way, and good find by white. Finding this fork, taking the rook. This white is at +13 points of material. This pawn is about to fall. This game is over. Okay, you know, just make a queen just to say you've made a queen, but we have a trade there. And now, the time situation. Black has 7.5 minutes, but white has 8 minutes and 13 seconds to try to find a win in this game. So if you are like not familiar with a bunch of these checkmates and just like want to like find the cleanest win possible with the least amount of thinking, what you need to do is take the pawns and then ladder mate. Okay, so queen c1, there's no defending this pawn, just take it, and then, you know, find some way to take this pawn. You can even give up the rook to get this pawn and then promote another queen if you want. Just get the black pawns out of the way, make sure you don't stalemate, and find a way to ladder mate. Okay, there's a check. Okay, this is the start of the ladder mate. King goes back. Good check again. King goes forward. Good check. Now it's going to have a ladder mate the other way. Okay, if you instead you find some way to, like, I don't know, take this pawn and then like ladder mate the other way, it's fine. But okay. And then white blunders the queen, but it's still +33. But black doesn't take the queen! Oh no! Black had a free queen and didn't take it. Okay, ladder mate time. King goes back. Okay, we're still ladder mating. Move the pawn up out of the way. Okay, this is fine because you can still ladder mate. You just get the pawn out of the way and start ladder mating. The king has nowhere to go. Okay, pawn moves up to attack the queen. Okay, check. That's a good check. King goes here. And now this is a discovery, which would be really good if your queen wasn't hanging. So now, white pushes the rook out of the way. Okay, this is still very winnable. Get your rook over here, and it's an inaccuracy because you could have went here, whatever. Get your rook over here, take the pawn, promote your other pawn, and take this pawn eventually. Okay, it's fine. Okay, king takes pawn, solid. Okay, pawn moves up. Now that pawn moves up again, that pawn moves up. You get your rook behind it, he gets a queen, and it allows black to get a queen with check. It's still winning for white. It's still majorly winning for white. But now king moves out of the way. Now the rook and queen defend each other, so you can't like get any forks going, right? This is only like your only hope is a perpetual. And we're at move 49 out of 80, so we still have lots of game left to play. Queen just giving some checks, and now the queen blocks. And the reason why this is a blunder and it's a drawn endgame is because, well, you can't trade. But I think you can just get a perpetual here if you find some way to fork. Yeah, you go here and you fork the rook, and then black's just up a pawn. It's a clean draw. This pawn's not getting queened. If both sides have a queen. But black trades the queen, and now this is just an easy win for white. You just have to get your king and rook in a position where black can't defend the pawn anymore and get a checkmate. Okay, king moves up closer. We're moving some pieces closer. Solid move. Cutting the king off for no reason. And now the pawn pushes. And black just decides to give it up. Let's just get another queen. And now it is easy cleanup. So what you have to do to checkmate is first you go here, deliver this check, force the king into the back rank. Use your king to cut the king off. And then after the king goes to the back rank, let's say here you push here, and then you will checkmate by putting your rook over here, and then when the king is lined up, you deliver the checkmate. Use your king to shoulder the other king away. Okay, rook goes to the opposite end. Not bad. King moves up, and rook goes over here, cutting the king off. Okay, solid. Okay, king goes down to the edge. This is mate in 4. Now it's mate in 7, but okay, you're still trying to focus on getting the king on this side of the board. That's fine. Okay, king goes over here. Now, this is easy. All you do is you push your rook here, and then you cut the king off, you put your king in closer, and you clean up. Okay, king goes in. Okay, this is still fine. This is still good. It's mate in 2. Okay, king moves up. Now, you put your... I personally would just put the rook here, and then just like white has 7 minutes left, by the way. White has 7 minutes, so put the rook here. Use all 7 minutes. You have extra moves, right? And then just line the kings up. Okay, line the king up now. King goes back. Okay, rook moves up the wrong way, and white. Okay, and this is not the check you need. You need to check like this, so the king has to go all the way back. Okay, that's a mistake because it's easier to checkmate. King goes back, and we have a repetition. Oh no! White doesn't know how to do it. They're getting their king lined up, but they just need to have it where it's on the opponent's move. And at move 80, the players repeated. And that game right there is a game for the history books.